What's going on, everybody? My name is ClayDoh, and welcome to the fall season recap of year 2. What a season it's been. Whole bunch of highlights, whole bunch of reels. Get ready for it because here we go, starting off strong with day 1. As always, with the beginning of any kind of season, we have to prepare the farm and get a whole bunch of seeds. So I went to Pierre's place, bought over 500 seeds of a whole bunch of various seeds that I want to plant this season, and planted them all. But that wasn't the only thing I did today. I also went to Ginger Island to start up the first Quee quest of the season, and before the day ended, I went back into the mines, slayed a few slimes, and got the slime charmer ring from Gil. Perfect, because the next Quee quest we're doing is about making it through the skull caverns in 100 levels without eating or drinking anything. It's gonna be a tough one, but we'll see what we can do about it. Day 2 of fall was all about that Quee quest that I wanted to accomplish. Being able to make it down 100 levels in the skull caverns is certainly a challenge, and we didn't make it. I didn't even really prepare that much for the skull caverns, so I was kind of already at a disadvantage, but we made it down around 35 to 40 levels, which isn't too bad. Plus, we found a ton of diamonds. I think we found anywhere from 15 to 16 diamonds or something like that, which is crazy, especially considering we really didn't have that good of a luck day. But hopefully within the next week, we can make it through that challenge no problem. So anyway, on to day 3. On day 3 of fall, I had 2 to-do lists prepared. One if I had bad luck, and the other one if I had good luck. Well, today was not a blessing. I had normal luck, which is not good enough luck for me, so I went with the latter. I decided to clean the farm today because it needed it for the season. The next thing I did was collect almost 1,000 wood from my tree forest at the train station, and finally, I unlocked the final mastery, getting to listen to Grandpa's theme and getting more excited for the fact that my Stardew Symphony was 10 days away from the recording of that episode. But anyway, that was it for day 3, so on to day 4. At the start of day 4, I said, luck be danged, we're going to the skull caverns again. And we still didn't get the luck I desired, so we had a different set of challenges that I wanted to do, and I pretty much made almost all of them. The only one I didn't get was slaying 2 pepperexes, and that's only because I didn't see a second one. We absolutely smashed the iridium goal out of the park, and we still made it to level 60 despite literally having the worst luck at the beginning of the day. So not bad at all for day 4. On day 5, I did a lot of chores today instead of doing mining and stuff like I actually planned to in the episode, but we also made a plan to go to the skull caverns on Sunday since that would be the last day of it, and I'd be able to craft staircases using jade from the desert trader. But in the meantime, I was able to set up all the crab pods I had remaining and brought them to the beach, hopefully to get those final 2 fish to complete my fish collection. Then I collected 250-ish stones in the mines and just about 20 gold in the mines as well. So, I mean, it wasn't a horrible day. We also built our 3rd fish pond, so we're making big progress nonetheless. But anyway, on to day 6. As the youngsters would say, day 6 came here, ate, and left no crumbs. What a beautiful day it was. We finally had the luck that we needed to go down to the skull caverns, and it was amazing. We made it down 110 so levels. We mined over 200 iridium, found a prismatic shard. Everything went perfectly. Can you imagine? Perfect luck gives you a really good day? I can't believe it, but it happened. It was amazing. Anyway, that's it for day 6, so on to day 7. To cap off the final day of the first week of fall, I pretty much just did the bad luck to-do list from yesterday, but you know, it was still pretty good. We were able to check the crab pots and get one of those 2 fish. We have 1 left. So we're getting close, but it's not fully done yet. We were able to go to Ginger Island to collect the star fruits and finally fill that keg shed with some actually profitable fruits. It's gonna be so good when those are done. But finally, we went to the mines and just couldn't find a single piece of ectoplasm to give to the wizard. So it was a kind of a bummer, but you know, sometimes you're just gonna get unlucky. But that's it for day 7. On to day 8. Day 8 of fall was pretty dang disappointing. Let me just be honest there. Well, it started off pretty good, you know, we got the crab pots, we got the final fish, we completed the fish collection. Awesome. We also got the recipe for the fish smoker from Willy. I was already thinking, hey, I'm at least gonna get one today because I have a lava jelly. Well, it turned out at the end of the day, I didn't. And throughout the day, in all of the lava spots that I was fishing at, I didn't get a single lava jelly. And on top of that, I threw a journal scrap back into the volcano where I fished it from. How did that even happen? I don't even know, but that was, you know, just a terrible day 8. On to day 9, I guess. On day 9, I embarked on the ultimate quest to find a prismatic slime, and it may have taken me pretty much the entire day, but I managed to do exactly that. Right around 9 p.m.-ish, I finally found a prismatic jelly. from a prismatic slime, and I was able to bring it to the wizard, and tomorrow he should give me a nice little reward in the mail, but we'll see. But that was the main quest I wanted to do, and I completed it. So anyway, on to day 10. On day 10, it was pretty much nothing but chores today, which is okay because some days you have to just do that. But today, I went out to the train station and mined out all of the trees that I had planted to get over 900 wood, which is insane. Next thing I did, I went to the desert and brought out a couple of my Omni Geodes and bought some treasure troves. I brought them to Clint's place, and we didn't get a single new artifact out of all 30 troves that we brought to him, which is insane to me. Oh well, I guess sometimes he's not going to give me everything I want, but the last thing I did was went out to the quarry and blew up everything, collecting all the rocks and ores that I got, and that was pretty much it. So, on to day 11. On day 11, I made it my mission to make sure I collect one cave jelly. I called them lava jellies before, but now they're cave jellies because that's what they're actually called. So I went to the volcano at first thinking they were still lava jellies and spent over half the day there trying to catch one when that's where they're not at. So then for the rest of the day, I went back to the mines, and the literal first fish I caught was, in fact, the cave jelly. So of course it was, but hey, we got what we wanted, so you know what? I'll take that as a W. So on to day 12. Day 12 went a lot better than I thought it was going to. At first, I just had the plan of checking to see what the prices were to finish off all the house upgrades and get all those extra rooms added on, but they were a lot cheaper than I thought they were going to be, so I bought, well, all of them, except for like the open bedroom and the open dining room. I actually don't like those plans, so we made do with what I got, and then we went to the mines and got over 40 gold and over 100 stone to add to my storage collections, and for the fact that we need them for the crystallarium shed. So it was a perfect day for day 12. So on to day 13. On day 13, we spent the whole day on Ginger Island, but the first thing we did was check the Quee quests, which we have restarted the extended family quest, because out of the two, that was the easiest one to do. I think the other one was literally genuinely impossible for us, but we have that to look forward to tomorrow. For the rest of the day, we went to the volcano, slayed some fire spirits, grabbed some cinder shards, and that was pretty much it. So on to day 14. We've reached the halfway point at day 14 of summer. So what we did today was a lot. So bear with me here, buckle in, and let's do this. So I collected all of the pumpkins that have been fully planted. We also got all of the starfruit wine, sold all of that. And on top of that, we completed the final bundle. So tomorrow, that's going to be fully done and we'll be able to see what comes up of it. To top off the day, I also collected 2 of the 5 legendary fish from the Family Tree Quee quest. So it wasn't fully to waste, even though I technically forgot about it, but that's okay. Anyway, on to day 15. On the 15th day of fall, I completed the remaining 3 legendary fish that I had to catch for Mr. Quee. I also arranged all of my Grange items that I'm going to use for tomorrow's festival, and I think we're going to have a banger of a Grange display, if you ask me. And that was pretty much it. We smoked all of the legendary fish that I caught for the challenge, and we made absolute bank today. It was so much money. I think we might have to do that more often, actually. But anyway, on to day 16. Day 16 was the fall fair, and with it brought my amazing Grange display. We had Lewis judge all of them, and he came back very positively with mine, as we won first place by a landslide. Take that once again, Pierre. But along with that, we tried the slingshot game and nearly got a perfect game, but unfortunately, it wasn't good enough, and I just never got a hold of that game since then. So that's where we are at the end of day 16, so on to day 17. On day 17, we were able to start our next Quee quest, get 50,000 points in Junimo Kart's Endless Mode. And obviously, I had absolutely no struggles making it through and getting to 50,000 points whatsoever. The footage you're seeing before you obviously does not paint any examples otherwise. Anyway, after that, I also went to the mines just to collect some gold for the future projects that I also want to be able to do on the farm. So anyway, a good day overall. But all days must come to an end, so let's move on to day 18. Day 18 of fall was a beautiful day. So what I did was went to Robin's place to build another silo, but before that, I was able to grab the furniture catalog and a phone, just in case I needed a caller for future projects. But afterwards, I was able to also buy the wallpaper catalog from Pierre, and I went right away to decorate our first room of the house, the dining room. And after quite a few hours of putting it together, I think it looked really nice. And at the end of the day, I'm very proud of it. But before I ended the day, I also took Leah to see a movie, Mysterium. It was decent enough, but that self-promotion at the end really stunk. But anyway, that was it, so I guess on to day 19. On day 19, we returned to the Skull Caverns, and you know what? I'm gonna be completely honest. I didn't think we were gonna make it that deep into Skull Caverns, but I proved myself wrong. We made it down almost 60 levels and got over 60 pieces of iridium. So overall, it was a very good day in the Skull Caverns. I'm very impressed with how it went. But anyway, that was it. That's really all we did. So, on to day 20. On day 20, it was all about catching fish today, something we haven't done in quite some time. And I managed to catch over 40 fish. I also caught 14 or 13 sardines, which is a lot. I had a challenge to collect 10 of one fish, and we did it with sardines. We made over 10,000 G in profits after all that, and it was a really good day. A chill day, considering I wasn't feeling the greatest that day. But anyway, on to day 21. Day 21 was another decoration day. So, after going to Ginger Island to collect all of our crops and did a couple optional tasks as well, I went back to my house and started editing the kitchen and living room. I think I ended up pretty nicely on the kitchen, but the living room is still a little shaky. I think there's a little bit of improvements I can make there, but overall, not too shabby. Day 22 was all about the mines, but before I went to the mines, I also opened some of my super mystery boxes up from Clint's place. Didn't really get anything that I wanted, but there was some useful stuff for the mines, but we went straight to the mines right afterwards, and we actually did pretty good. We got 6 diamonds, and we just barely got 60 gold like I wanted to for today, right at around 1:30 a.m., so W day, and let's move on to day 23. Day 23 started with a plan in mind. I wanted to start a beehive farm. So, after going to my greenhouse and grinding down all of my ancient fruits into many seeds, I got to work. I was able to craft 5 beehives for now, with the intention of crafting more later, grabbing a fairy rose seed from Pierre and heading to Ginger Island. After scouting for a little while, I found the spot that I wanted to set up my farm, looked up an image on my phone to figure out what kind of farm I need here, and got to work. I only placed down the 6 that I had, and I didn't plant the fairy rose because I realized I needed more, but that's a job for later. I ended the day happy, and that's the end of day 23, so on to day 24. On day 24, it was back into the mines for another beautiful day of mining, and what a day it was. I got over 70 pieces of gold, 3 diamonds, and some memories to make along the way, I guess. There was just, I had to have 3 items in there. You can't just say 2 items to make it a good day. But anyway, it was a good day, so that was pretty much it. We just mined all day long, and it was awesome. Anyway, on to day 25. On day 25, we're gonna mark it down as the second day of the beehive farm. It's not done just yet, but we did use all the maple syrup I have. What I'm gonna need to do in the near future is plant more trees and have more taps attached to it just so I can get the production going a little bit quicker and finish this project a lot faster than I can right now. So that's a work in progress, but it's looking good so far. After that, we completed the museum on Ginger Island, getting us a couple more golden walnuts and the crafting recipe for an ostrich incubator. And along with that, we found a couple more hidden treasure notes and found an ostrich egg. So obviously, before I went to bed, I built the incubator and put it in there. So that'll be done whenever it tells me. I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, on to day 26. On day 26, I had a couple of activities that I needed to do before going back to Ginger Island, and they were actually really easy. I grabbed out some maple seeds from my chest, crafted a couple extra tappers, and went straight to Ginger Island. I planted all those, crafted a couple extra tree fertilizers because I didn't have the amounts I needed, fertilized all the trees, and went back. I also crafted a couple more seed makers, that way I can speed up the process of making more seeds, and I used that with all the pineapples that I had on Ginger Island and crafted a whole bunch of seeds to plant both on Ginger Island and in the greenhouse. So now it looks really good in there. Anyway, on to day 27. On the penultimate day of the fall season of year 2, brought the Spirits Eve Festival. But before I wanted to go to the Spirits Eve Festival, I had to wait till 10 p.m. So in the meantime, I went to the mines, and I had so much good stuff happen down there. So many gemstones collected, but also we got a ton of gold and a ton of stone for that elusive crystallarium shed. After that, we went to the Spirits Eve Festival, blasted through the maze, and got a ticket instead of a golden pumpkin, but whatever, and had a good night. But anyway, it's on to day 28. On the 28th day of fall, I decided to go back to the Skull Caverns, but before that, we had to complete Pierre's quest line, which was to turn in 25 gold star vegetables. We did that, and afterwards, we went right to the Skull Caverns. I didn't really get any of the goals that I wanted to in the Skull Caverns, other than collecting stone, which I knew was going to be an easy one to begin with. We got close to how deep I wanted to make it into the Skull Caverns, but really didn't cap it off with the iridium, so it was a bad-ish day overall, but you know what? In terms of the season itself, it was a really good season, and I was absolutely happy with how everything turned out in fall regardless. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video and sticking with me throughout these past 2 years of fall now, which is crazy. It feels like we just started this series, but we're already here. It's the end of fall. We're going into winter now. It's crazy. But anyway, thank you everybody so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, comment, share, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff like I always say at the end of my videos. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow with some more winter of year 2. Bye!